Well, good afternoon, would-be general securities principals. I'm going to get a whiteboard here, and I can't stress this to you enough as a would-be 24. You need to make an exhibit. Anytime you get a quote and you can't understand it, you should take your scratch paper and you should make it your own exhibit of what you're being asked. So here was the given information. The market maker is quoting $8, and that's the bid. And the market maker's ask is 8.25. And again, I always think what you should do is when you're making your own exhibit, just be clear what that is. So let's get a different color. This is the price at which the market maker buys. And this is the price at which the market maker sells. You know, as a 24, you got to be inside looking out on these quotes. Now, if this was a market order, it's not. Whatever the customer specifies as the price, it's not a market order, it's a limit order. If this was a market order, the customer would be on the opposite side. So the customer gives me an order to buy, he pay 8.25. If he's customer selling, he pay 8. But when he gives me a limit order, so now I have a customer, let's call that customer TDW Ray, who gives me a limit order to buy 200 shares at 8.05. And I say, damn, TW Ray, my customer, is willing to pay more for this stock than I am. Right? I'm willing to pay 8, and this is a limit order. So now he's on the same side as me, and he's willing to pay more. So if he's willing to pay more, you know, I'm supposed to display this. Now it says that we receive an order. So I'm holding this limit order to buy 200 shares on the limit at 8.05. And remember, the limit order, the customer's on the same side as me as a market maker. Now let's put that in a different color. And let's say I have now another customer. Let's call that customer Divine Goff. Who wants to sell 200 shares on a limit. There's always an implied better. And again, it's not the customer. Your job to tell me it's limit order. The minute the customer says there's a price there, this is 500 shares at 8.10. And again, it's going to be on the same side as me, right? So now Divine Goth is willing to sell the stock at a lower price than I am. So now TW Ray says, well, Dean, given that I was willing to pay 8.05, why did you execute? And I said, well, I gave Divine Goth 8.10. I was willing to pay her or him a nickel more than you were. And so they're happy that I did that. They're happy than that because they got a nickel more than they would have got from you, right? You were only willing to pay 8.05, and I decided to go 8.10. Remember, that's just a quote. Like 8 is just a quote. That's not a trade. That's just what I'm willing to buy. But here I decide to step ahead of you, and I'm willing. I'm allowed to step ahead of you as long as I provide price improvement. Again, I think this is better learned from missing practice questions than it is from reading the book. I highly recommend that if you're reading the book, you try to read it cover to cover and as close to one setting as possible, not trying to understanding, just see what it looks like, the entire body of knowledge on 24. And then you got to start missing practice questions. So when you come into this and encounter this in a practice question, that's the best way to kind of deal with it. And then I noticed in the edition you're using, they got rid of that whole second paragraph about another customer, right? So what we're saying in that second paragraph is that TW Ray might get some price improvement. In other words, if there's nothing that prohibits me from filling you on your buy at 8.05 if I get another limit order. That's what that's trying to say in plain English. Anyway, so if that was helpful, and I'll put this on the channel. Remember, inch by inch, Series 24 is a cinch, yard by yard, Series 7 or Series 24 is hard.